What's up?
Hey,
What's
hey,
up, people?
hey.
What's going
Trying
on?
to figure out where the I normally get told when there it is. Okay.
It it sent notifications that was going on about 3 minutes.
Yeah, I got it. It disappeared. I don't know why it disappeared, but anyway. Hey people. Oh, I know what I'm supposed to tell you. Um, happy Sunday.
Hmm.
Uh uh
I saw you yesterday. Okay.
and huh?
I said, yeah, I saw you yesterday. Happy Sunday.
Today is Sunday, right?
No,
Yeah,
I said,
Sunday.
yeah, I said, and I saw you yesterday. I said, happy
I
Sunday,
wasn't
though.
talking to you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I was talking to people.
Okay, hey,
Okay.
people. Yeah, hey, people.
I wore my bonnet outside,
Bonnet
you know,
Chronic, the
as
bonnet of
special
salvation.
as a special note to Monique, since Monique wants to tell women, black women, they need to stop wearing slippers and bonnets outside. That is the institution, Monique. Okay, you don't
But
tell black women to do that. You know how hard it is for. You ever heard of humidity?
you inside, though, so, yeah.
Nah, I'm talking about outside. Oh yeah, I'm inside, but still, I'm aware outside too. It's raining. Um, No, she said that. You know what she said? So, okay, to give context, Monique put out something. I didn't watch the video, so I don't really have good context except the quote. And she was like, "Black women need to stop be wearing bonnets and slippers outside. That's just that's not the look." And all I thought was, man, she's trying to take away my history. You remember them Daniel Greens
Clack,
that
clack,
they used?
clack, 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 clack. Then you would, if you was fancy, right? You put the taps on them things. You ain't got paid money to put them silver taps on them, so you could sound like a damn horse trotting down the damn. You had to get that thing horseshoed,
You got to shoot.
pick the foot up and everything, the foot back and put the taps on it.
That was a
Yep.
staple. Okay, that was a
That's staple.
staple in New Orleans.
I think that was they had it other place too. That's hood. That's a hood staple. I don't know who told them white women's shoes was the hood staple, but Daniel Green's was it. It was it.
I never had a pair of Daniel Greens because I was broke, but I used to look at it and it brought me joy. Every time I would hear somebody, I hear him first. It all.
And
Sorry.
then when you see them right, and they had that walk though, looking like a horse, when they did a little stank walk, they be like, "Oh shit, she a stallion." That was a stallion before Meg the Stallion.
Oh, oh, and don't take my childhood away, Monique. Don't take my childhood away. This is just a part of it. Look, ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got look. Every time I sit there, especially during COVID, like there was a time I used to keep it jazzy. I was always out. My heels be out. You know my heel collection. I got an extensive heel connect collection, and that's not even the boot connect collection in a closet. So, huh?
I said, "You got the shoes."
I ain't wore the shoes since COVID started. I ain't wore the fit since COVID started. So I've been feeling a little dowdy. Okay. So I was like, I'm gonna zhuzh it up. Take my hair out, put, face on, put the whole fit together and go out, right? And I did that. Felt great. But then I had to detangle my hair. And that's where the felt great went away.
It's too much trouble.
It's a lot of process, yes. And this is why women wear weaves, because we have not been taught the proper handling of our own hair to learn the proper handling of our own hair to where maybe it won't be so stressful to undo it. But right now, them caps, this hair swap cap, my favorite thing in the whole wide world. They talk about protection. I'm just lazy. So
Mm.
Monique, leave me alone. Why you got that look? You see, because see the
Yep.
thing about Monique is she hating because she got her own little bonnet. It's called that ponytail, that little gray ponytail she always have in her head. She got a ponytail for every occasion, curly, straight. Nobody telling you nothing. That ain't turn.
Okay, but she wasn't talking about not being yours. She's talking about being presentable outside.
Who said that was presentable?
That she feels is presentable.
Mm. Okay, those bonnets are presentable. I hate those things. I'm
See,
just saying. I'm saying you like, leave them alone. Okay, I feel your pain. Ain't nobody got time to be doing your hair out. Ain't nobody taking your hair out. Keep that anyway.
I haven't seen him in a long time though. I mean, I want to see some
Dave
old
Greens.
school. Yeah, I want to see somebody old school just walking around, and I'm like, oh shit, there's a throwback. Do it on a Thursday. Call it throwback.
A tear would come out my eye. I'd be like, I remember those.
Mm-hmm.
I remember those. Yeah, bring me back to walking the Gentilly Terrace, walking like going down Elysian Fields and seeing them people. The food stamp office full of Daniel Greens. Memories.
Stop food stamp shaming.
Oh, nah, never that. That was the good old days. That's when you knew you was getting the good meat.
That sound you hear from that where you tell the stamp out the book. Didn't know money came in books. Damn, my money. They got
And you
books.
made sure you took care. You're like, because I ain't
Don't
ripping money.
rip.
So anyway, well, that's a responsible intro to the
Yeah,
discussion for today.
that's really not that goes way against what this damn topic is. Like that's messed up.
You're welcome. You're
Thank you.
welcome, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's you look, you doing like you always do though. You filing suit. Yeah. Let's talk about deadbeat dudes. Let's talk about them ain't shit men. Oh, it's Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Oh yeah, happy Father's Day. So this is one of your
Speaking
things.
of, I just saw a Kevin Samuels video, right? Were you able to see that video I sent you from Ryan Davis? Because
Yeah,
I follow him on Patreon.
I watched it.
Huh?
Right. Yeah, I watched
Oh,
it.
you could watch it. Okay,
Yeah,
good. Did you
yeah.
see part two of
Part
it?
one and part two. Yeah, I watched them. Part one and part two. Yeah.
What'd you think? So, side note for the world. Everybody knows Kevin Samuels out here telling people they need to do better, get bigger dicks, lose less weight,
Yeah.
have less babies, lose weight.
No,
Like,
not
make more money.
so. He said no. He asked him. So he said if you don't have one, he needs to shut the hell up. So you can't not get no. Men ain't getting bigger dicks. Ladies,
I'm
don't
just
get.
telling you. He's trying to make the impossible possible. Get bigger dicks, lose a ton of weight, have less children than you already have. Like he's just like the impossible possible, but he does that stuff, right? So Ryan Davis did a video about him, right? Which I would like to. I sent it to my brother. I promptly sent it to my brother and said, "Hey, what are your thoughts?" And then this jiu-jitsu person never responded.
Oh, I did. Oh, I'm sorry. I,
Mm.
I'll be all over the place. People send me stuff all day long. I get TikToks all day long.
Them damn
That's
TikToks.
from several different people, right? Several different people. So I'm like, okay, let me look at this. And I look at it, I'll forget to do, I'm like, okay, I saw that. Then next video, then debate. Okay, what was you talking about? Why are you tagging me in this? Debate, back forward, back forward, back forward. So that's how my days be going. And
I don't know
people,
why that.
that's why you always see my light on a lot of times because I'm people just at me on stuff,
Let me tell y'all, don't at me. I ain't responding.
dragging me into stuff because they know I'm gonna say some mess. They waiting for me to say it. They want to hear it, and I'm like, all right. Well,
What'd you think?
oh, I'm out of jail, y'all. Hey, how y'all doing? I'm free.
For now.
For-
What'd you think?
no, I think no, I agree with what he said. It was humorous. I agree with it. Um I can't remember verbatim, but I think some of his points were it went to basically to try to appease people on like one or two of the points. He was trying to appease it because I think he knows damn well that the man ain't mean certain things, but because for comedic purpose, I think he just went ahead with what everybody else is talking about.
No, I think what he said was I don't think he was telling a joke at all as far as the content. Like his thing. Okay, so for context, people, Ryan Davis put out a video talking about pretty much saying this, that Kevin Samuels is a content creator. He found what worked. And what works is tearing people down who come to him for stuff, right? That's just it.
That was the problem I have
What?
because that's not what work. That's not what works. Tearing people down. What's work is that saying stuff that trigger people makes people come to the yard. It makes people come to you. So that's why it works. because people go.
potato potato is the same thing. Two things can exist at the same time. He's tearing people down. I just heard a video where he was just telling this woman, the woman said she was in a toxic relationship. He was like, you know that, like he pretty much was like, it doesn't exist. Like there are a whole bunch of toxic people going around. He said every time I hear a woman say there's a toxic relationship, we just be looking at her. You know, we thinking is you.
No, no, everybody says that though.
So
Oh,
you know
okay.
how many toxic? The real honest answer to that is you're in a toxic relationship because you're a part of a toxic.
Okay.
You're a toxic part of that thing. But he's not
Yes.
saying that. He's
No, he
making it.
asked
He's
her.
like gaslighting people, making it seem like it's you.
I saw that. No, and he asked, he said, "What did you do?" And she said, "Well, I did X, Y, Z." And he was like, "Okay, so this what it was." She admitted it. I saw that one. She admitted that she was the reason. She was part of the reason. I just had this debate. Look, I just
No,
had this
I'm
debate
not saying
yesterday.
that she's not admitting it. I'm saying that he cut her off like it was like it was crazy what she was saying. Like he was cutting her off. It'd be different if he was asking her questions, asking her questions, asking her questions, and then got the information and said, man, it's you. I can see that. But from Rip, she was like, she just came out of a toxic relationship. He was like, y'all always say all these women be saying that. I'm like, yo, like that's unfair. That's like, but he placates to this stuff. He
So
has
you
talking points.
know what's unfair? No, but you know what's unfair, and this the reason why. Like when people say that, because she said up front it was a toxic relationship. What implies what? What does it imply?
It doesn't
If
imply
you don't go
anything to me.
further, if you
It
don't go
doesn't imply
further,
anything to me. It
it
takes
don't.
two people to make a toxic relationship.
You let's say the normal person listening to her.
I am the normal person.
No, you're not. You're not the average person listening to her. You
I
just
know.
said.
I just wanted a compliment.
Shut the fuck. Anyway, the average person that says something, you bastard, it says something, and that's why he stopped her, because women saying that to other women mean okay.
He could have asked questions. He didn't
And he
have to cut her off and say that. He could have asked questions. He's like, "What's toxic about it?"
and I agree
And,
with
and he could have set up for the okie doke. But that's the point of Ryan Davis. Ryan Davis said he has talking points, and he realized that it plays like it plays to certain people. He has the formula that works, and the formula that works is tearing people down. Now the rest of it, like I'm not saying that some of the stuff he's saying is true. Neither did Ryan Davis. Davis didn't say some of the things he said was true. It was true. But how he delivers the information is another thing, and how he aids and he like his aid in tearing like don't get me wrong. I also feel like there's a big issue with like mental health issues are if not on the rise, being exposed
forefront.
as
It's on the forefront. Yeah, and
yeah.
that's a lot, and he does that a lot too. Also, he calls out, when
He ain't
people.
qualified to call it out.
Well, he tells them go seek help.
I'm just saying he ain't qualified to call him out. I seen your old video, sir. I
Who?
seen your old videos. His
Oh
like
yeah,
I, like
yeah.
he's a
It
personality.
was garbage. It was garbage.
The
It was
best thing I can
garbage.
say that Ryan Davis said that I absolutely agree is he is the Derek Jackson
Yeah.
for black men.
No, I agree with that, but also I agree and I disagree. Right, I agree with certain type of black men. Right, certain type of black men he is. The black men are trying to seek validation so they can feel good about being sorry pieces of shit. Oh, he's absolutely that for them. But for other black men, he's saying stuff that black men been saying forever and nobody listened. So
I mean,
the
Derek Jackson been saying some truths too. Don't mean he's not placating to a certain thing.
yes. But the list I'm saying the difference is the difference of placating, right? He's placating to sell stuff, to tell women certain things. This dude is placating, saying exactly whatever that he feels people don't hear often. He's only one channel. He's only one person out of the whole mainstream
Yeah,
media.
but if he was saying that,
Okay.
but if he believed that, he'd be saying it from jump. Well, at first, he was responsible. Like he showed old videos of his
No,
content,
he
and
spoke
he
to the
was
truth.
responsible. Hmm?
But no, why is that response? No, what I think was going on is that he couldn't say the real message till he talked to the men first, and that's what I think that might have been, because he
Well,
spoke 3 years. He spoke to men, 3 years, right?
no, for 3 years he tried his content, and the content didn't work. And
He
then he
spoke.
did something, and something popped off, and he said, "What? Look at my look. Analytics matter. If you're trying to do
That's true
like
too.
he
That's
ain't
true.
got no regular smuggler job. We got regular smuggler jobs.
Mhm.
Me and you, I don't even look at the analytics really.
I don't
on
even.
this. Do you even know how to? I know
I do.
how to.
I do, but I don't. I don't worry about that.
That's because we got regular schmegular jobs. All right. We ain't trying to
I
make
don't
this
care. I
our
don't
money.
care if people. Yeah, yeah. I ain't trying. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. At the end of the day, it's like if you listen, you listen. If you get it, you get it. If you don't,
So
so
be
be
it.
it. Go with God.
Let's have a discussion.
Yeah.
Let's figure it out. But that's the difference. When you gotta eat on something, you
Mm-hmm.
do what it takes to make it so you can eat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, and I'm not picking on LaGuardia Cross. I love his videos.
Mm-hmm.
You know New Father Chronicles?
Never heard of it.
Oh, they're so cute. This black man, he had his first child and he used to do videos. This dude went from initially he used to do beats
Mm-hmm.
on YouTube. Nobody was checking for his beats. He's really good. He used to do rap and stuff like that, but then he had a baby, and then he just happened to do just one video about the baby that blew up. And now he's New Father Chronicles. Now Barack Obama was on his one of his YouTube videos. Now he's like it. He's doing everything everywhere. And so that that shapes if you gotta feed your family on this, and now he got two kids now
Mm-hmm.
and his wife has mental health issues. If you got to feed your family on this, you think he about to stop doing stuff with his children and go back to doing beats?
No, I understand. Yeah, that's true.
Same thing with him. Like after, like if it was a regular smuggler person with a regular smuggler job, saying regular stuff and keeping it consistent, or at some point coming to a point where he's like, I used to feel this way. This is where I changed.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be a different conversation. But he changed his whole look. He changed the whole. This is a business. At the end of the day, this is a brand.
And that's true. Yeah, he worried about his brand,
Yeah.
and in at the back end, right? That viral moment shaped it. That viral moment is what actually shaped it even further.
Mm-hmm.
But it allowed him to be seen. He's a million followers now. I think he just made a million.
And I'm happy for him.
And
I don't have a problem with him per se. I don't have a problem with him per se. If people could throw the baby out with the, I don't believe in throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Hey, Ashley.
oh my bad.
Ashley put out some videos, y'all. Um, Black Girl Interrupted. Go check them out. They were real dope. She talked about pregnancy. She talked about adoption, abortion. They were real dope conversations. Um, uh, Also, I feel I like one of the things I really like is just like Ashley makes me want to sit with her and have a dialogue conversation about some things because it's gonna get real. It's gonna get real talking about miscarriages. It's gonna get real talking about like the things that we need to talk about. In fact, I was gonna do Ashley. You inspired me to want to do a podcast, like these little. You know how I did the little financial literacy, see little bites discussions on my page. She inspired me to want to do that about my fibroids to discuss that because I don't think we spend enough time talking about women's health
Mm-hmm.
and understanding the need for I don't think we talk about men's health enough either because men men's health is worse. It's way more neglected.
We don't check on it. We don't. We
Yeah.
don't. Yeah, we don't. We oh, it ain't happening. If we don't go, it ain't happening.
But I think it's important to have those conversations. And for women, it's less about the fact that we don't check, but the more so about how we're ignored
Okay,
by
in the medical community. Mm-hmm.
yes. So I think I'm gonna start doing that until I decide to stop again because you know that's the shit I
Yeah.
do.
Mm-hmm. On and off. Mm-hmm. On it.
So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna shout you out, Ashley, and have I might like discuss this. Uh, yeah. So
Well,
June
well,
is
under the rug. June will be about the black man. Okay.
oh good.
Yeah, she's gonna do black men health also. So I gotta get back with her because she
Well, is
won't.
June Black Men Health?
Well, no, it's Father's Day is in June, so I think she's going with the whole month to do
So
just
I
men.
can't talk about Kevin Samuels in June.
Nah, you can't do that.
Okay.
It's stupid. So yeah, I gotta get back with her because she sent me an email with all the topics, and I have to get back to her which one or ones I'm gonna be on. So
Do one saying I ain't the daddy.
you stupid as hell. I don't have none of them. Um, she said, let's definitely sit down and have the conversation.
Oh, that's be dope.
So,
I would love it.
get with it, and y'all. You could get on one of, you know, not in June though.
No,
Let's
not June. June is penises.
your foolery past June. Let's get it. Let's do it in July, August. Damn it. Um. Anyway, let's get back on topic because your ass just
Actually, bring me on that one. Bring me
because
on that one. Tag me in. Tag me in.
speak about Taylor Sanders. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay. If that's the case, yeah. If that's it, all right. Anyway, we going to the damn topic because I'm tired of
Yes, we are. Let's talk. What we talking?
talking about foolishness and that
I
go,
mean,
that go
I
against
mean,
the actual nature.
what can we before we get into the other thing? Can we just do? There was a video you put on ADHD Hour, and it was crazy. It was a woman, and I just want to tell everybody, and I'm not saying because she's a woman that matters. Just be careful out there when you're driving and stuff,
Oh yeah,
because there was this young lady who was driving. She cut in front of this car.
the
The car had, huh?
Maserati.
Is a Mas. Yeah, God forbid.
Yeah,
He has a whole Maserati. He willing to risk it all
risk it all.
for. So he cut in. She cut in front of him, and then he got out the car with a gun and he started shooting in the car. She had two children in the
And
car.
it was like it wasn't even like he cut in front of her. She was inching over. This was in traffic. It wasn't like they
Yeah,
was
it
driving
was, and
fast.
she was turning into. Yeah, she was turning left.
It was merging. It was merging lane, and she just inched up in front of him. That's
Was
it.
that it, Virgin? Oh, I
Yeah,
thought it was left turn.
she's merging. Nah, it was a merging.
Oh, I mean, my thing is this one car, sir. It
One
is
car.
literally not worth what you just did. Luckily she didn't die. She got shot in the shoulder. None of the children got hit. This is crazy. Okay, we live in a world where there's too many people in overpopulated areas. What did you? DC is an overpopulated area. What do you think's gonna happen? People
All the
and
time.
hmm?
All the time. It's gonna happen all the time.
Yeah.
Said
So just be careful.
rage is real. I put on it Unhinged. If y'all nobody ever seen Unhinged, go watch that movie. That'll keep you from getting on your horn, messing with people, not knowing what's going on in their life.
Is that the one with Jared Butler?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Was
Yeah.
it good?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was filmed in New Orleans. Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
Okay, I'll watch it. But I just wanted to say that to everybody out there. Just be careful. Like now, I'm very cognizant of that. So I'm gonna look into the movie.
Mm. Yeah, look at it. It's hey, you
Oh, Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe. That's what it is. Russell Crowe. I'm sorry. They kind of favor each other. Yeah, it's Russell Crowe. Yeah.
But that's all I wanted to do before we go into the topic. So go ahead and go into the topic.
All right. So the topic today is reflecting on the past, the destruction of Black Wall Street. It's the topic. Um, for all those that don't know, tomorrow will be 100 years that Black Wall Street was destroyed by American citizens, by the government bombing Black Wall Street. They sent out planes and they burned it down because, well, before I say that, before I give that, well, it followed a trend that was going on in this country. 1919 um, started off with they call the Red Summer, where they started. Hold on a second. Uh, where they started, as I said, let's bring back Black Wall Street, where they started lynching black people. They started in several cities where black people were doing well, and they started lynching and burning several places around the country. So that started in 1919, following going all the way into 1921, which was the worst massacre in U.S. history that was committed against their own people. Um, I'm gonna do the what you call me afterwards. I'm gonna play those. Do the well, I could show it. I'm just not going. But anyway, I have some pictures of it, and what I'm gonna do while we're talking, and we're gonna go into the pictures and stuff. You kind of talk about what we see in the pictures. Um,
But let's bring it back to like the effects of what happened then and how it affects us now. Um, uh, as people, and I'm not just talking about Black people, just people in general, we need to see representation so we can see what we can be, right? Yeah, there's a possibility that I can be like a doctor if I've never seen somebody become a doctor, but there's power in knowledge.
Hmm.
And what they were trying to do is kill the knowledge that we can be better than we are, right? That we can get along, that we can make our own and provide for ourselves and sustain ourselves. Um, this is not something like I know Willie touched on this. I want to make sure I drill down on. This is not like a person doing this, like what happened with the Charleston shooting with that kid in the church. This is the government doing this to their people. Like get the disrespect of it all. They're paying their tax dollars to the government, and the government is using that dollar to bomb them. And this
Yep.
is one of many cities that have been affected. This isn't just one story. Um, you talked about it one time on another podcast, but there's like a litany of what we had in our Black business. We had the
Hmm.
blackout business, the Black business section. Somebody was talking about the different ones, and then I found the map. I finally found the map of all the different massacres that happened at the hand of the government
Put it on my
or
Insta.
the people sustained by the government. It's too many.
Yeah.
It is too many. So go ahead with the pictures. I just wanted to drill down on that because with this knowledge that we're not getting access to. Also, one more thing. There are these schools that they're fighting, the government in Texas is fighting to change history books and to reflect slavery in a light that is whitewashed. And it was whitewashed before. So I didn't know you could get lighter than white.
Even yeah, you going translucent. You go
Yes.
you go we just gonna make it see through. That's all we're gonna do. White ain't good
Yeah.
enough.
No, we want we want it invisible. And that's
Mhm.
what they're going through. And so with this whole whitewashing in history to the point where like now keep in mind somebody said this and I forget who said this shit. Um it was like um they said that they're doing this with the school, they're trying to do with the school books, but keep in mind the school books were trash from jump. So the
Yeah,
school books were like slavery was bad, this happened, but Martin Luther King came and saved
that's
the
school.
day and then he died. Yeah.
That's
And,
that's what's wrong.
and I never thought about that, but I really did think like that because it was like, oh, it stopped at Martin Luther King.
Yep.
No
That's
more
what they.
slavery, no more racism.
Oh, this is wonderful. This world is wonderful. Look at it.
And then when stuff happens, you feel crazy. Like what they're trying to do is like they're treating us like a bad relationship. Like they're trying to gaslight us into feeling like we're crazy for figuring out. Just today, I was with my friend. We went grocery shopping, and the lady, he paid with cash. The lady did the marker to check if it was real, and then it
Mhm.
showed that it was real. And then she said, "No, that can't be it." And then she looked up at it, and it
What
was
the?
like, well, she had done it to somebody who was white. I'm like, probably not, but if you don't know the history of racism, if you don't understand that there is a history of racism, then you're going to be like, something's wrong. Why do I feel crazy? Why is this stuff happening? Black Wall Street was never in my history books.
No, never. No, it wasn't in any of them.
And I think I think that's a part of the issue. Like, I think this here, they're doing this intentionally and they're saying it's not enough. We got to take more.
But if you remember, like a while back, I was saying about this is what needs to happen for us to come start over, for us to start on ground zero. We have to first go to the history books. We have to first what the hell is going on? I think the government's got my computer and don't want me to show this stuff.
It's okay. We'll talk about it.
So, um, yeah, we have to first go. We have to first put it in the history books as being factual because what happens once you put stuff as factual, then people that look like you and I, first we know about it, so we have something to build that foundation on. Okay, this is what happened. This is where we're at. Then people that don't look like us won't be looking at us like, okay, y'all, whatever, y'all ain't wasn't worth anything. You can't tell somebody that a black person worked anything if you have this history. Just like when we were slaves, right? They tried to go and erase the history in Egypt and everything, and they tried to erase the history in Egypt because they couldn't. You can't validate. I mean, not validate, but you can't say that the black people aren't are animals if you got proof of them doing stuff that you don't know how they did. You got pyramids that you have no clue how they made, and still to this day we don't know exactly how it was made. We have all the hieroglyphs and everything. We have everything over there that shows us that we are intelligent people. We started our civilization. We astronomy, math, and everything else that the calendar and everything, right? We were able to do so much stuff with just a little knowledge we had, and we're supposed to be animals, so we need to all that needs to be in the history book to show everybody this is the foundation of black people, right? This is who black people are, and where they come from. And then after that, then now we don't have to fight as hard, right? With our own separate voices, right? Because it's already a foundation written in the books that are taught to the kids when they start school, because they have to go to school. So
Yeah, but
Yeah,
the
but the
problem
problem
is
is
with
with
this.
this.
Why is there feedback?
I don't know.
The problem with this is that they're going out of their way to make us believe that the only history that matters is the history they teach.
Mhm.
So when I remember meeting some Hotep, that was the statement back in the day. Back in my day, it was Hotep. Hotep person, he was telling me about the different like things, and it was like I ain't never heard of this. I'm like, oh, and it's like
You
you
don't know
gotta
what
stay
you're
on
talking about.
top of
Yeah,
this.
you don't know what
Yeah,
you're talking about. That's the thing, because you don't know, so you think they're crazy.
I do, I did. And
Mhm.
I remember that. And there's people question themselves. And then you make it like, well, when something happens, like what happened to that man in Baton Rouge who
Mhm.
got beat to death, and they talk about he hit a car, and they were like, oh, maybe it's because he was a drug dealer, and maybe because if they control the narrative, because they're not saying let's not stop putting in the news all the stories about black people selling drugs or shows that show people painting the people in bad light. They're keeping those things up, but what they're trying to do is paint themselves in great lights because they're already doing media campaigns now to try to make sure that it's not perceived in a certain people aren't perceived in certain kind of ways, right? So now what you're doing is saying, let's go back and fix it too. So now
You're
all
gonna fix
things
the
look
black
great.
people. Black people gonna go back as many years you want to, but you won't go back. But you won't go back for the woman that lied on Emmett Till and got Emmett Till killed. You won't go back and look at her, but
Yeah.
you won't put statute limitations on. You want to get rid of statute limitations for everything else that deals with black people.
It is
Uh,
us up to us to teach the children a history of black people, but it's also up to us for us to know the history of black people.
Plus, no, and I don't agree with that because we pay taxes. Once again, just like you
No,
said, pay taxes. We
I
pay taxes.
agree with you.
We pay taxes for our kids to learn, right? To go to school. We pay taxes for everything. So we should be able to collectively say, this is not the truth. We need to teach our children the truth. This we want our children to learn and know, because we all pay taxes. It's not like we pay less taxes. We don't get no kind of discount on taxes, even though we was brought here illegally. We were kidnapped and brought here, and they don't think about us. We pay the same amount of taxes, so our voice should matter, and what our kids learn should matter. We
I
still.
agree. But I say this to everybody, and I'm going to say this about this too. Education doesn't stop at the school. Education starts at home and ends at home. So whether you're talking about math, science, social studies, finance, home ec, it starts at home. You can't just send people to school and assume that they're going to learn everything there is to learn. That's the biggest misnomer that people like. We don't, and not to say that they shouldn't be doing it, but we live in a lot of low poverty areas where they don't give us the best in schools, and
Mhm.
that's just it. So we have to be responsible enough to realize what. Don't get me wrong, the government fight the government all day long, but also remember that the government, us funding the government to fund schools, isn't the only way for us to educate our people,
Mhm.
and our people are our children. Meaning,
Yeah. Hold on, we got Heidi with a comment. Well,
Hey, Heidi.
I'm trying to do this over here because something happened.
I'll read it.
It was working.
I'm sure, old person. I'll read it. Heidi says it's up to us, white people. I can't deal, to teach Black history to our white children. If we don't, we perpetuate the systematic oppression. I agree.
I agree with that too.
There was a discussion that was on Blackish, one episode where this white guy who was talking about um wanting to do better and help the Black community, and so Dre told him to put his kids into public school, and he's like, "Ooh, no,
Mm-hmm.
I ain't
No,
doing that.
that's too much. Look,
That's too
what are you doing?
far." He said, "I want to give my children a chance." He said, "Well, what about our children? We want to give our children a chance. Well, the way we could do that is if white people go to public schools, and then they'll fund the public schools. That's just what it is." And so then it becomes a question, and it's like, this is a hard question to ask, right?
Mhm.
And we'll get back to discussing Black Wall Street, but it's a hard question to ask, that we say, hey, we need help, so we need you to sacrifice the access that you have. We can have a little more access. You to give up the access that you have to give us a little more access to things. And he was like, nah, he ain't doing that.
Yeah. He wants his
And
kids.
so it was like a kumbaya moment where they held hands about it or whatever. But his kids were still in private school. Here's my thing about that. I was like, I didn't like that episode because I'm like, why are you like it bothered me because it was true. Don't ask
Yeah,
me how
because
to change something. Do you have a
you
delay
heard.
or do I have a delay?
Let me stop messing with stuff because
Yeah.
before I cut us off, let me just leave it alone.
Mm-hmm.
I'll post the pictures in on our page on ADHD Hour page. I'll go ahead and post all the pictures since they don't want to let me do the right thing today.
Yeah, you have a delay.
It's me.
Mm-hmm.
Um. Okay.
In Canada, all public schools are created equal. Does that mean they're good or bad though? I want to know the answer to that one. Like, does that mean they're all shitty or they're all good?
Exactly.
Like, because I don't know whether to say congratulations or sorry to hear that.
Oh. I'm sorry. But
So,
so Black Wall Street, I could read this. She said all good. So Black Wall Street, they had 600 businesses, 21 churches, 21 restaurants, 30 grocery stores, 2 movie theaters, 6 private airplanes, plus a hospital, bank, a post office, schools, libraries, law offices, and even a bus system. So, that's in that one area. They had all that going on.
so let me be clear so people understand that when they say Black Wall Street, they make it seem like it was one street. This was a town.
Now, yes, now.
This was a town that was thriving, and they bombed it. And here's the part that bothers me about that is like throughout, not just the part, there are multiple parts, but throughout history, they've been like, so back then, information wasn't passed like it's passed now, right? Like we have social media, we have this, that, and the third. So people think that it'll get better. It should be better when stuff happens at this point. But that's not the case. It's just like the same doubt, the same questioning of stuff, the same second guessing things happens now. And we have social media, we have videos, we have all this stuff available to us, and we still do the same thing. How did a town get bombed by the government and it was no repercussions?
Yeah.
They paid out
Well,
people.
no repercussion for white people because the black people they were rounded up, and something happened to them because the 2 white men were killed in the whole struggle, in the whole not struggle, in the whole massacre. 2 white people died, so they made all the black people pay for that. So it was a repercussion, but just not for white folks. Um, they said an estimated 300 people were killed within the district's 35 square blocks. So it's 35 square blocks was made up the town, and they burnt it to the ground. More than 1,200 homes, at least 60 businesses, dozen churches, a school, a hospital, and a public library. So they burned all that, made sure there was nothing structurally there for them to rebuild actually. And oh, before I forget, CNN at 9 o'clock tonight. CNN has something on the Black Wall Street. They're doing a video film about it, and also on Facebook, there's a survivor and descendant town hall hosted by Angela Rye, and it's open to the public. So if you look for that, it's called Survivors and Descendants Town Hall. So if you look for something, it's May 31st, 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern. So check that out. They're talking about how they're going to go forth. I guess they want to do something, rebuild um, Black Wall Street, the town of Greenwood. Trying to do something about it over there. So also they said they had like 1.4 million dollars in damage, and it was claimed after the massacre, uh, and that'd be like $25 million today. Um, they, like I said, two white people died. That's it. And it initially started because why do you think it started? First of all,
Uh, so a part of me wants to be stereotyping it and saying something happened where somebody saw they had something and then they got jealous, like it was a comparison of money or something like that.
mm-mm.
They were like bragging and then they had to bring them down. That's what I assume. I
No.
don't know how it started.
It happened because of something about an elevator. I'm about to say because I don't want to get it right, but I don't want to get it wrong. But it was about an elevator, and one of the white guys got hurt, and oh, it was no, yeah, it was a white woman. I'm sorry, it was a white woman in the elevator. So that's what it was. Um, the shoe shine guy was accused of assaulting Sarah Page, the 17-year-old white elevator operator in the Drexler building. So that's what happened. They accused her of assaulting her. I think what happened, she was startled or something, and she screamed. He startled her or something, and they, how they do. The white woman said something, and we're gonna drag all the black men out, right? And they would refuse for that to happen. So the black men got their
I
arms,
didn't know that. Yes.
and they refused. They didn't want. We're not gonna stand for this. We're gonna fight against it. And so they went, left the town, went rallied their troops, talked to the people, whatever, and they made up a lie. I can't remember what that I wish my thing would play. This is crazy.
Oh,
They,
if you
they
send me
just
the link, I could do it.
they don't want me to.
Can you
They,
copy the link and send it to me?
they don't want me to do it, but you can't.
I can share the screen.
I can share the screen too. I just don't. Okay, hold on. So let's go here first. Okay, how black how Black Wall Street began, because I don't know this information. Um, O.W. Gurley, a wealthy black landowner, purchased 40 acres of land in Tulsa in 1906 and named the area Greenwood. Its population stemmed largely from formerly enslaved black people and sharecroppers who relocated to the area fleeing the racial terror they experienced in other areas. After the government, we are Facebook is bothering me. Somebody's messing with me.
Focus.
No, no, no. I'm focused. Trust me. It's not. It's not. It's not I. It's not I.
Are you trying to show something?
Nah, because anyway, screw it. Screw it. I'm done. I'm tired. Anyway, like I said, Black Wall Street was a place that we had for our own self. We had black folks were thriving, prospering, and because people were jealous, white people were jealous. They decided to go in there and eradicate everybody, burn down buildings, kill men, women, and child. And then the fallout to me was that it left us. black folks not wanting to emulate that situation because of fear of what was going to happen if we did that. I've had conversation about doing some stuff, doing business, doing stuff like that, coming together doing business. And I was told, oh, what happened Black Wall Street? Okay, no, that's not what you don't think about that when you're doing stuff. We can't operate out of fear, and that fear that that's put in every black person, I think, was passed on generation to generation, and that's part of our traumas, um, along with slavery, and everything else that kept us from doing things or coming together as one. Um,
Well, also let me say this. Like I don't want to just I don't want to like I really want to drill down on what I think is the more important component of what actually happened. It
mhm,
was less about them being jealous. It was
mhm,
more about them realizing the power that was held with the because think about it this way. I forgot this was a story. I remembered it when you said it.
mhm,
Um you had a black man who's about to get lynched, right? Who's about to get handled, who's about to be whatever, and a town that was thriving of black people saying, "We're not going to let you do this to our people," and they had the power to stop them. Whereas before, when somebody wanted to come get, like Emmett Till got rounded up,
mhm.
they went to their house and it
With
was
his
just a
house,
house.
yeah.
Now it's strength in numbers, and they had to destroy the strength. They had to
Mhm,
destroy the power that they were holding because they realized that they allowed these people to do this in their area, and were able to sustain power in that, and they had to kill the power. Because once you have power, like Kent, this is why United States is what United States is a super like it was a super hole because the power it had. If
yeah.
there was no power, we wouldn't be able to do anything. So when they saw the mistake that Tulsa had power, when they saw these communities that had the power to make these decisions, they killed it.
Hmm. No.
They destroyed because they could have. I mean, they could have killed way more people. They didn't kill way more people. They destroyed every part of that land, though.
Hmm.
So now you have how you're going to rebuild. How you going? Where you going to get the money to rebuild? Like you have nothing. You have no job. You have no infrastructure. You have no monetary services coming through. You all have to divide to try to make it, and
Yeah.
that is the thing.
So that's I'm gonna plug my blackmail podcast for Tuesday. It's gonna be on is independence was was independence is independence the reason why the black community is where it's at, right? People being independent. That's loosely was yeah,
INDEP.
INDEP. Is that the reason why black community is what it is? And just like you were saying, we had to separate. We're not a unit anymore. So we can't we can't we don't have no power. We can't inflict our will because everybody's will is you
All
know
day.
all over the
But
place.
everybody wants to be. I had a conversation with a guy who said we all can be leaders. That is not the case.
Not the case. Yeah.
This is why we are doing this. Everybody's looking out for themselves because everybody thinks they need to lead instead of understanding that honestly, a true leader takes everybody into consideration.
Hmm. True.
So you're playing with the computer again because you're slow. Stop playing with the computer.
I can't help myself. Okay, I'm
And
done.
you are slow. Like every time I know exactly what you're doing. Like it's like a contrary kid sitting here. I'm like, oh, he's sitting here like just jumping. His face is jumping from here to here. Um, so like we have to take this in consideration. Um, Also, it's not. How do I say this? It's not as simple as one answer,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not as simple as somebody getting out there and coming out and thinking that all we need to do is this. It's
Hmm.
not just that. That's why I agree with Willie. You your tax dollars is going to help funding schools. You need to make sure that the schools are doing right by your tax dollars. Absolutely. But while that is happening, there also needs to be some additional teaching, some additional learning that's going on. Um, that can help the community, not just black people, white people. You need to bring the community in and educate the community because the community is growing up getting bad information,
Mhm.
and it's not doing anybody a service, honestly, because we all have to live and work together. And if we keep fighting each other, how is that going to help the country? Like we're divided at a level. I mean, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even gonna say that because people use these absolutes. We're not. We're divided at a level that is just like what it was back. Like it's Republican versus Democrat. It's the people who back Trump who still back Trump because even though you don't hear a lot about it, there's a lot going on behind the scenes where Trump is very much so in the picture, and the
Oh,
Republicans will support him because the next election is coming up, and they don't want their people to think that they are going to. They don't want to lose their seat.
the fact that they want to bring up they want to bring people up on charges. The fact they don't want to get a committee to look into January 16th and then
Mm-hmm.
focus on abortions is a problem. And that's, I mean, that proves that, he's still kind of pulling strings behind everything. Him and whoever the powers that be are still pulling strings. They keep us focused over here. Abortion, abortion, abortion. Women don't have this. Women's right. This, abortion, this, that, and they over
Yeah.
here like worried about not trying to get down to why January 6th happened. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and that affects the whole country. That's not even about the black community at this point, but it's the same premise. It's the same premise for what they did with the Black Wall Street, what they did at Rosewood, what they did to other communities that were thriving, that were black communities. Black people owned land back then, a lot of land actually, and it was taken under the guise that you're enemy of the state basically, or you know uh, people being feeling that you're less than, so why should you have this? So we're going to figure out a way to look over here. They showing everybody, the whole America, this image over here, and they're doing stuff to try to take advantage of black people. It's just like what happened Hitler. It's just like what happened in Germany. Exact same thing. We're gonna talk about this, and the whole while our end game is we're trying to eradicate these people. We're trying to get rid of them. So I think Black Wall Street, looking back at it, it's a place that we're so far from. Like back then, we were so much ahead, and we can't get back to that point. And it's where we actually need to be in order to do what we're talking about doing, right? To cause change as far as getting these history books rewritten. We need to be the same as it was during Black Wall Street. We need to have the same purpose. We need to have the end goal in mind.
See, and I actually kind of disagree with you. I think we need to amend it to today's standards, right? We need to change like the rules. We can't keep playing the same game in different eras. We have to amend it because here's the thing: trying to reach Black Wall Street will get us this could get us the same results of Wall Street. We have to take in consideration certain things, like what happened, like how, like the game is changing, the rules are changing as we play it. And we have to stay on top of that and stay ahead of it so it doesn't come back and get us. And the problem with this is like, so what we're talking about is sacrifices have to be made.
Yeah, exactly. Hmm.
They're like people keep talking about making this money, but if you're trying to create infrastructure, if you're trying to create a strong infrastructure, first off, reality is it's not going to happen in our lifetime, but we
Yeah.
can create the foundation for it to happen.
Mhm.
That means that we have to stop trying to just grab, like I feel like not to say that there weren't business people during this era. There definitely was. But there was also the church. The church was involved where people went to school, there was community, there was accountability that was happening. Not that I agree with all the accountability, but there was still accountability and that stuff matters. Um
But
we
it's
like
even though you don't agree with it, right, it set up a certain precedent, right? That
mhm.
this is what we have to do. We have to do this in order to get what we need to get where we need to go. And that's what we don't have today. We don't have it.
The
We
accountability, no, I mean, it's just different. Like, I mean, to be honest, we have to learn from this, but also understand that sometimes black, I mean, like 2021, my opinion, y'all. 2021 Black Wall Street doesn't need to, like, the new Black Wall Street doesn't look like this. It looks like people of all different colors and ethnicities and sexual preferences and religious backgrounds working together to understand that the oppressor isn't us. It's the people trying to keep us fighting with each other.
Okay, I agree with that. I wholeheartedly agree with that. And Black Wall Street to me is just it's just the image, the the avatar to where we need to be at as people. Like people that believe the same thing need to come together and get stuff done. You know, outside of during that time there wasn't no kind of place like that, so I use that as like a utopia type place that we need to get to, and it doesn't have to all be all black people. That's not what I'm saying. um People that have the same goals, we want to live in a better society. We want to live in a society where people are thriving and
That we have access
work
to,
together. We work together.
that we all are provided access. We shouldn't be fighting for scraps.
Hmm.
There shouldn't be that. This is not how, this is not like, understand the concept of, like, this is what I want people to understand. Cryptocurrency came into play. Cryptocurrency ain't shit.
Yeah,
It is literally the same thing that money is. It's the promise for something, but it doesn't represent anything.
it's not backed by anything, just like
No,
dollars.
it doesn't. Dollars don't back by anything. They don't represent anything.
That's
Same
what I'm
thing with
saying.
diamonds.
Yeah.
Same thing with copper. They
Worth.
don't represent anything until we place worth on them.
True. Hmm.
So now we're killing people for something that's we place worth on.
Hmm.
So we value this more than we value actual tangible things that we see, like people, like children, like, like animals, like those kind of things. But like, we have to get to a point where we understand knowledge, stuff that we actually have that can take us to the next step. We're holding on to it like this, and we won't do it unless you pay $9.99. Unless you buy my package, unless you do this, you can get some information. Unless you do this, libraries where information is supposed to be located is full of fictional books. This is the stuff we're looking at that we have to get around. Black Wall Street, the destruction of these areas that have been, like, they're symbolized to mean a lot of things to a lot of people. To people who like to have money, it's symbol of, hey, we can do this if you follow me. For people who are pro-black, it's a symbol of where we can all be if we pull together.
Black unity.
Um,
Mhm.
yes, Black unity. Um, there's there's in this lifetime, there's not going to be a Black Wall Street,
No, I
right?
agree. I agree. But we have to do the work though, and this is why this is part of the message I'm gonna say Tuesday, right? I'm disappointed with our community, right? Totally disappointed in our community because we used to know we had work to do, right? Back in
Mm-hmm.
the day, we knew we had work to do, and we did it. We got it done. Now nobody wants to do the work. Everybody wants to have a say so and shit, and don't want to do the work. Nobody wants to do anything. It's like we can argue this shit all day long, but nobody wants to put in the work to do it. And when somebody does step up, try to put in the work, we try to tear them
Oh,
down.
they tear them down.
We try
Mm-hmm.
to tear them down, our own people. So that's what I'm like. I'm just disappointed. But yet you can see people all day long that look like us on silly shit that don't mean anything, right? Following silly shit that don't mean anything. Like doesn't give any kind of structure to our lives, doesn't it's not going to get us ahead any kind of way. And I'm no, I'm sounding like my dad right now. Go to hell. Um, go to hell. I just heard myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything. You see black people following latest trends, the latest dances, and everything, and everybody's doing it. But who's going to do the work?
And so because I'm big on mental health, I'm not saying that those dances aren't important, right? Because we have to find a way to de-stress from life, but we also have to get back in the game.
Hmm.
We can't just like we just can't be victims to our circumstances and finding releases from the victimization to our circumstances, like video games, the escapism.
Mhm.
TikTok, I hate TikTok. But I'm so curmudgeon. I hate
Mm,
TikTok. Um, but
somebody ain't gonna need to name their name. Just got me on TikTok, and because I mean, it is a good way to get information out there. I haven't figured out or spent time on it, but it's an awesome way to reach more people at once.
I agree. I
So
agree. I
I'm
just hate it because I'm a curmudgeon.
yeah, I'm gonna break down and do something with it though. But yeah,
I'm a curmudgeon.
I feel the same way about it though as you. Because when I go through it, I'm looking. I'm like, okay, I'll shut it off because I'm like the same people doing the same thing. To say, hey,
It was you, wasn't it, Heidi? It was you.
I ain't
No,
gonna say
I see value in TikTok. Don't get me wrong.
it's
I
fact.
see, like I said, just because, like, so for me, my outlets look different than that.
Mhm,
That's why I'm not shitting on stuff like TikTok. I'm not shitting on that stuff because again, we have to have outlets.
mhm.
We have to have ways to de-stress or to connect or to correctly inform people of stuff. And so I respect those things. But again, you got to get back in the game.
I don't think we have balance as people, as black people. We have no balance. Like we always overdo stuff, right? We just if
I don't know.
we find stuff and we go above and beyond when we find something. So it's like we
But I
negate.
feel like we have no choice. Our choices and our control has been lacking so much when it comes to stuff. Like I can't help me whether or not I leave today and go drive somewhere. I can't help whether or not I get pulled over for nothing.
Mhm.
Like there's so much we have little control in that we want to have the control that we have our control in, and we want to have that escape that we have the escape. And escape is sweet. It's a great place where people think we're great. People don't look at us crazy. They don't sit there and clutch their purse or lock their doors when you walk through. They're just people like, oh, here are the hearts. Here's the love. Here's the love. I get it. I don't think it's like they're being one minded. I just think that it's escapism from the standpoint of it's a mental release. Just think about it. Where you like, there was a point where I was doing all the stuff when I was doing the life coaching stuff, right? And I was really into it at that point. I was putting out content on IG and whatever, and the people was liking it. And there was something about that. And you told me that it's like it gives you like dopamine or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's your,
So
endorphins.
these people aren't being one sided because of that. They're trying to feed this need
Mhm.
that they don't get anywhere else. Do you really feel, in my opinion, do you really feel like if they can get this by being in front people, that they would be behind the scenes?
No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't. But so, and that's one thing, right? And that's not what I'm speaking on the fact that we still have. I mean, yes, I understand releases. You have to have your release. You have to have your vices or whatever, right? But that's only if we're gonna map out our life, right? And percentage wise, the time we spend doing shit, like much people spend 80%, 70% of their time doing foolishness, and nobody's doing the work. And I'm just saying, we need to get more balance in our percentage wise. We need to get at least 40% doing work, and then and 60%. We could go even 6% doing bullshit, but we don't do that. We don't do it, and I'm speaking, personally. I know I can do more myself. I know I could do more myself, and it bothers me. But I just when I look around and look at people like us, I don't see it at all. Right? I don't see. And I'm talking about in our vicinity. I'm not. Of course, you have people that do work, but I think it's a few people. It's few and far between.
Well, I
And
think there are ways to do work and still, because I think you're being hard on yourself. Because keep in mind, we just on 7 days a week. They ain't create new days in the week,
8 days, damn it, I could make 8 days.
and you're trying to make it. Not and like my thing is just not understand what you're trying to say. But I would say this: while the circumstances are dire, and I'm not trying to suggest that they aren't, I
That's what
think
people don't understand. It's dire. People don't understand it.
but I think that there's a balance that it can be had that whereas you like I work my 40 and I have my business. It's not like I don't put in the work to do stuff, but I also make sure, even though it's a thankless job, I try to look out for the people I can look out for, my tenants, right? I try to do the little things that I can do. And so understand that those little things matter. So when we're talking about when I when we're talking about people, um, when we're talking about what we can do and doing more isn't necessarily a lot. Doing more can be, hey, first off, let me say this: educate yourself before you start doing more. Because I done heard a lot of people tell a lot of stuff, and I'm like, this is wrong. This is incorrect information. Let's educate ourselves. If we want to be responsible, let's educate ourselves. I was just telling Willie about a conversation I had with a gentleman who's the CEO about something. And
I was wondering when it's gonna come up. I knew it's gonna come up.
but I'm not trying to rag this. I felt bad. I really honestly felt bad because I was sitting here like, oh, this shit. Ah,
Mhm.
because we get to a place where instead of us doing the work to get to, and the work is hard.
Mhm.
It's not easy. Instead of us doing the work to do it, we just
Yeah.
claim the word, and then we don't do anything. There's nothing a part of it. So you get all in your mind, you get all the accolades, but none of the work that's done. But really what you're doing is devaluing the word.
You devalue with the word, and that's what happens all day long. We devalue stuff. So now to everybody that's not doing that, it's like whatever. It's like, okay, yeah, I've heard that before. This person's this, the word that, and you don't give any you don't you don't give any credence to whatever the word or the work that goes behind it is. It devalues the work also.
Yeah. Yeah, and it also devalues you. Well, if I'm being honest,
Yeah.
it devalues you because I was sitting there looking at him like, oh, little tink tink. Because I mean, this is some remedial shit you're talking. And if
which,
you really want to get in the game, huh?
which way did he go? Which way did he go?
Hey George, hey George. Um, but this is remedial, and if you really want to get in the game, you need to do the research to get in the game. You need to realize, like, and I'm not trying to sit here and say when I tell you it takes a long time to figure out. They say what is it, 21,000 hours to master your craft.
Uh-huh.
Like it takes a long time to get to the best of everything,
Mhm.
and you're trying to tell me just because you just created an LLC, you're a CEO? No, sir.
Mhm.
A CEO has a board. That's the whole point of having a CEO because
Mhm.
there's a board underneath them. Like it's just the whole mindset. And
Structure.
I'm not
Structure.
it's just I mean, and we have to get out of this delusion that we're having and sit in reality. And this is why like I mean I just I don't know. This is why I can't play a video game. The Dr. Robotnik is my favorite video game, and I haven't played that for years. I can't play a video game because I can't. I got nieces and nephews I can spend time with and just like show them and have conversations with them and try to educate them. Like you have family members. Nobody say you got to go into the community, and shout out to the community activists doing their thing. Great.
He was
You
active
could just,
too, though.
hmm?
He was an activist too, though.
He's laughing because the guy said he was an activist, a CEO, and an entrepreneur. And I was sitting here like, oh Lord, what do you activate?
That's what.
What?
Yeah,
Your
activate.
Jerry curl?
We going back to the 80s. Activate. Stupid.
But that being said, I'm trying to be responsible. Don't make me do this because look, I gave the irresponsible conversation with him offline. I'm trying to be responsible now.
I'm
If we
sorry.
want to learn from this, if we
Mhm.
want to really get to a point where we can actually do stuff, it's about education. It's about having conversations. Honestly,
Mhm.
I'm like one of the best conversations I ever had. I didn't even think I had one of the most impactful conversations that I had. Not best for me because it was like elementary conversation, but it was a conversation I had with a white guy who was like he didn't like black people,
Mhm.
especially black men.
Mhm.
And then he was like, "No offense, I don't like them sometimes either." And he's like, "Oh," and I
Yeah.
was like, "Yeah." Some
Yeah.
people sucks, and some of those people happen to be black. It's just what it is. People are people. And then it was like then he would come back, and then every night he just try, Like he'd test me with an idea and whatever. I ain't give a shit. I was just talking to him about stuff. I'm like, but I gave him my perspective, and I'm like, have you thought this? Have you thought that? I'm like, man, eventually I was pushing back on stuff, and then he was like, you know what? I'm glad we're friends. I'm like, we're not friends. I
Mm.
didn't tell him that, but we're
But,
not
yeah,
friends.
but to him, because you were the litmus test for black people, basically.
And I'm glad I could be that. And I'm not saying go reach out and grab a white person and say, white person, follow me. I'm just saying provide people opportunity and an avenue to have discussions, even if they differ from you, and just discuss stuff and try to get to understanding. I'm not saying he marching for Black Lives Matter. I'm not saying that at all. I'm pretty sure he didn't. But
As long as he wasn't holding tiki torches, then we're good.
he wasn't doing that.
Yeah. So we're good. Hmm.
And it's just like humanize yourselves, humanize and provide yourself an opportunity to humanize them. Right. Um, there's this so I sent you the note. So there's a show on Netflix. It's called Dolly Parton. Something about Dolly Parton presents or something like that. It's different stories from Dolly Parton songs, right? And I sent that to my cousin, our cousin, and she's like, "Why do you have to be so white?" She said, "Musicals and country music." Like I was like, "Whatever." And she said, "Musicals, country music, and Golden Girls." I said, "Golden Girls slams." I don't
Mhm.
care what you say.
Hey, I like Golden Girls too. Picture this: 1921, Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Thank you. How
Hmm.
dare you?
Hmm.
But the reason why I said that is because one of her songs, Dolly Parton song, was Jolene.
Hmm.
And Jolene was about this hussy who was gonna take somebody man and whatever. And then the whole point of the story was she was like understanding the perspective of the other person.
Hmm.
Like the woman Jolene was this woman who was gonna take her husband away from her and whatever, and she was the worst person in the whole wide world. But what if you could see who she is, and
Yeah.
doesn't take away from what she's doing, but like if you can see each other, maybe you can get to a point where
The
it's not.
humanity of people.
Yes, yes, and that's what I'm trying to say. Um, I think that that's what we can take from looking back and seeing this, and like because looking back on it is easy for you if you look like us. Andrew Schultz said this, that um we look at our blackness not as the color of our skin but the content of our experiences. So when we look at the content of Black experience, this is a part of the content of that Black experience. And then we can look at it and get mad, or we can look at it and get protective, right, and scared. Or we can look at it and try to deconstruct it and learn from it so we can thrive and get to better,
Hmm.
right? But understand there was nothing these people did wrong to cause this to happen. So there's nothing we can do
To cause
to
it not to happen.
exactly.
I got you. Mhm.
So that's what I'm trying to point out. Like those were bad people who did bad things. Now, could it happen again? Yes, if there are more bad people out there trying to do bad things, then yes, it can happen again. Should that stop you from trying to do good things?
No, no, shouldn't. You shouldn't worry about what's going to be bad around the corner if you're trying to do something, trying to get to a goal.
I'm okay if you do worry about it, but understand it's not going to stop bad stuff from happening.
No, I'm saying, well, I mean, worry about it. Worry about it to where it affects your outcomes, to where it affects what you're going to do to that
Well, I
level.
mean, it can help affect your plan, right? So for me, so the only reason I say this is you and me operate differently.
Hmm.
I worry about every fucking thing,
Hmm.
right? Everything I worry about, I pick apart and plan, and I try to get to like you saw the difference between us. We had my niece's birthday.
Hmm.
Um, it was her 17th birthday. She wanted us all to take a picture. It's like hurting fucking cats. Cats with dyslexia or ADD. That's what it was like, hurting cats. And whereas, like, you could see the difference between our approaches to things because you was chill. You was chill as hell. You was like, all right, here's an opportunity. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But you was chill. What was I doing? Hey,
Yeah.
you here? You here? You here? You here? Because I'm like, I'm not wasting I ain't got much time on this earth. I ain't trying to waste my time trying to figure out what to do. So for me, and my anxiety and my own needs, I have to create a plan. I have to look at what could go wrong. I have to go through the flaws. So I don't have a problem with you being afraid and looking at that stuff that makes you human, but
Mhm,
address the fear.
mhm,
Try to find a workaround to it. I don't stop. Willie, no, I work. One thing you'll never say about me is I don't do stuff. I don't work. I don't try to get better. I don't try to do more. It's always about that. But because I know that my anxiety, I suffer from that kind of stuff where it's like it can be crippling.
mhm.
I just look at the anxiety. I look at what could scare me and I find a workaround.
Find a way. Well, and I do that, but it's not much that bothers me or worries me. So that's my issue because I don't, you know who my son is. He don't care about nothing scares him or nothing like that. So that's the younger me. So
That
what I
scares
do,
me, by the
what,
way.
yeah, it
Again,
yeah. But when I have see that problem, I got to attack that problem in order to get over it. Because once I attack that problem and the solution comes about, then I can go back to a resting place. So that's the only time, when I see that a problem, I observe something that is a problem or could be a problem. Then I attack it full force, and then now I could be over it. So, I don't worry about anything past that though.
and that's another approach. But we're all living this earth.
Hmm.
And so it's figuring out what approach works for you. So I'm not gonna ever say I'm not gonna ever stay in one area and say what you feel is the wrong thing to feel. But you gotta keep moving.
Hmm.
That's it. Standing still. Like think about it like this. If you lay in bed all the time, what happens to your body?
Atrophy.
Exactly. You waste away.
Yeah.
If we stay still, we're gonna waste away. Not You cannot stop people from coming and harassing you
Hmm.
just by not doing anything. That can no matter what happens. History has shown us time and time and time again that even if you do nothing, they'll just come for you.
Yeah, they're gonna come for you anyway. So you might as well be doing something to try to prevent that from happening, or at least move around so when it happens, you're ready.
You're prepared.
Ready, yeah.
So it's like there's story after story. Like I'm not just talking about the black community. I'm talking about history in
History, yeah.
general.
History, yeah.
One of the most fascinating things I saw was when I was in Amsterdam. I was at the Anne Frank house. I think it was at the Anne Frank house, of the museum part of it, and they discussed how um it happened. What happened? Like it just started with little atrocities happening, little things. They took away a little, and now it's like this. Like you watch little things happen. If you keep doing nothing, then
A- And that's how it happened in America though too. I mean,
what's
you
up?
you watch a little bit, and people say, "Oh, it's not my problem. It's just only this a little bit. Oh, it's on a
Mhm.
little bit. Oh, it's a little bit," and they keep moving the goalposts till you get what you get, and everybody now we're trying to destroy everybody.
Yes.
So that's what we don't learn from history, and that's my other takeaway from us as the black community. We don't learn from history. We want to have the traumas and fears and don't want to work through it, but we don't learn the real lessons of history.
Well, I mean, a part of it also has to do it if we're not learning history.
There you go. Go right back to the truth in these school books. We got to go
Yes.
back to that. So yeah.
Yeah. So it's keeping all these things in mind. And I'm like, and what's in it for you? What's in it? Because my thing is this, and I can only speak to this black person.
Mhm.
I've never held anybody who doesn't look like me responsible for stuff that happened when we weren't around,
No, I agree. Yeah.
and I never will.
Mhm.
But I can't hold you accountable for what you've been. And I've experienced situations where I've watched wrong happen, and people excuse it away. And
They use
so you're a part of that.
the past to excuse it. So you're a problem. That's your problem at this point.
Hmm. You're a part of this history.
Mhm.
You're creating history now, and you're a part of that. So no, you weren't part of my ancestors being slaves, but you were part of this one. And you're creating this, and you're moving forward, and you're trying to excuse your stuff. And it's just like nobody wants accountability is an epidemic. Nobody wants it.
No, not in this day and age.
Mm-mm.
It's now when somebody's trying to hold somebody accountable, it's an attack. Now you're attacking me. That's what it's called. Why are you attacking me?
Triggered. Um, but that's what I have to say. The CNN documentary come out today, tonight.
Yeah, tonight at 9 o'clock, CNN, and
Oh, it's
two,
about in like 40 minutes.
yeah, yeah, 40 minutes. There you go. Yeah, 40 minutes. So y'all check that out if y'all, if y'all want to learn something, because we didn't learn this in school. I could tell you, we
Oh,
learned nothing about this in school. It took
we
me to,
lived in New Orleans and there was a massacre in Louisiana that happened. We knew nothing about.
yeah, deal with the Black Panthers, Desire Projects.
Hmm.
I didn't know nothing about it. I was grown when I found out about that, and I was
I
hanging
took
in the project.
Louisiana history.
I was, what you say? Oh, you said,
I took
oh,
Louisiana history. You wouldn't even know.
no, no, I was hanging in the project. I found this out in the projects, talking to hood folk. Right. That's why I heard it from him. I had to look it up. I'm like, wow, damn, we didn't learn about this. How is this not known?
Hmm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
take a look at it, everybody. I'm not telling the white people to go find a black person to talk to because some of them don't know shit. So make sure you find qualified information, qualified educators on this. Start reading some books. Up from Slavery was the book Mama made us read, and I think I was the only one who actually listened.
Yeah, I think you were.
And I thought she said it was mandatory, and I listened. But Up from
I
Slavery,
listened when I said read. She said read the Bible. I was being a good Christian. No, let me stop lying. This is Sunday. Let me start.
going to,
God, please don't strike me down.
but get some books. Start looking up some stuff. Start questioning things. I'm not even telling you to read it and believe it. Start trying to find out what's going on. Figure out what happens. Start opening your eyes and looking at just situations around you.
No, actually, and what happened? You don't have to believe it, but the thing is, when you see certain things happen, now you have this knowledge to draw on. You could draw on
Mhm.
this knowledge that you done read. If you have no knowledge, you can't draw on anything. It's just like when I was about to say something about church. Anyway, you draw on when something happened, you have to do it to some mythical stuff or something, astrology or other stuff going on, and attribute to that instead of having that knowledge drawn. So that's we gotta educate ourselves past what these people want to educate us. That's my final thing to this, because like I said, it goes right back to what we said about education and us not getting a proper education.
Mhm. Mhm. So I mean, the only thing I say, if you want to ask what y'all can do, um, start pulling people together, sharing some information, like sharing, start pulling in. Like the thing I appreciate about Heidi. Heidi has shared our videos when we have our responsible discussions. Not all our stuff is responsible. I don't keep it 100,
It ain't.
but we've been like be a part of a discussion.
Mhm.
See if you not, and I'm not saying placate us. Please don't play. Please do not placate us. Don't walk up to me and be like, I, I don't know why it annoyed me. I don't know if it annoyed you, but it annoyed me so
Hey,
bad
bud.
when no, what happened to George Floyd? I had a few of my people who knew me check on me saying, "We just want to know if you were doing okay." And I'm not related to him. Like, why are you check? Like, why aren't you like? There's so many things you could like that can help. You calling me is not going to absolve you of feeling bad that a black man got killed on national TV in front of everybody.
So I kind of feel away and I kind of don't, because people don't know what to do sometimes. And
Yeah, but you're trying. Why are you doing it?
yeah, oh yeah, it's totally for self. I'm not negating. I'm not saying it's not what it is. It's totally for self, so they can feel better, right? It's all about feelings. But I'm just saying people just don't know what to do. And I didn't get none of that. I got discussions. I got real discussions out that situation. Because they wanted to genuinely know what I thought about it, and you know, we talked about, we actually went over every single aspect of it, and was, like I said, honest conversation. So I appreciate that from the people that was at my job. We had those discussions. Um, came with about talking about racism, talked about all kind of other stuff behind the scenes that they might not even be aware of, being that they don't look like us. Because you can be blind to something just because you don't have those same outcomes in life. You don't. That's not your reality. So, I appreciate.
Oh, all right. I'm gonna ask a question. I'm gonna ask since Heidi, I know you're on here. Heidi, I have a question. Like, do you have to be black to have like to understand certain not not the black full experience, but to me, what they saw with George Floyd didn't have a color. What they saw with like Ahmaud Arbery, with like name after name after name after name, because I don't want to start naming and forgetting everybody
Yeah.
of these black people, and you can what how can you not see a pattern? Because to me, it's not that you don't see a pattern; it's that you don't care.
Well, no, no, okay, and I'm gonna say this too. The government, the media do a damn good job trying to mask what it is, right? They do a
I don't
damn
feel
good
like
job
they do that good a job.
attacking. No, they do a damn good job of attacking the person, the victims. They do a damn good job of painting a certain picture to making it seem, just like okay, let's say George Floyd, for example. You didn't watch the video, right? If you didn't watch the video, but you had your idea about stuff, certain people hear the rhetoric that's going on and he was this, and he put a gun. This is what they kept saying. He put a gun to a pregnant woman. All this other shit. They do a damn good job of
I don't
attacking.
care. People don't deserve to die.
Okay,
That's
yes,
the difference. Because I'm
I,
a quality human being.
I agree with you. I agree
I'm
with
a no, but that's the difference. I didn't hear it,
you. Okay,
but I'm a quality human being.
okay,
Same thing with that happened with that young lady who got shot 4 times, right, by that cop.
yeah,
When she was about to stab the girl, may
yeah,
or not been about to stab the girl, but he shot. There was never a point where I said he needed to go to jail, where he needs to do
yeah,
this, where he's being racist. I never felt any
yeah.
of those things
I agree.
because I use this.
No, but that's the same thing. That's the same thing, and that wasn't even the white people that was doing. It's black people that was feeling that way, and it's the
That's what I
same
mean.
thing. It's the same thing on the other end with white people, right? They listen to certain medias and they make assumptions. They want to be play armchair quarterback or armchair police officers and everything else instead of just using their mind. And like I said, because they're not us, right? It's I think it's harder to for some people. For some people, it's harder to put themselves in that situation. Not talking about George Floyd. I'm talking about other black folks because George Floyd was clearly it was on camera. The full situation was on camera, and you cannot. It was no way you could dispute that. So I'm not talking about that situation. I'm talking about other situations where you had maybe some wiggle room. So I just say yes, I agree with that. I didn't see color when I watched the life squished out of George and Ahmaud hunted down in the ditches. But I hear so many white people besides me saying, "Well, he did. What did he do to deserve it?" Then I see color. That's what they do. They listen
Try to
to
make it makes they try to
yeah
make it okay.
yeah. They no make it make sense in their head. Something had to
That
happen.
makes sense. Make it okay.
Okay,
Like they're trying to justify something that no matter what you say cannot be justified. There is a court of law for a reason.
mhm,
There, like literally, there is a jury, judge, trial for a reason, and you're telling me I have to do is tell you what he did?
mhm.
That's not true.
No, it's not true, and I'm not saying that. But also, and Heidi said there should be no justification. I agree, but also think about this too. All right, think about this. And let's bring up Wall Street, right? Not Black Wall Street, but let's bring up Wall Street, right? Um, Back when they had the Wall Street crash, right? You remember that?
Mhm.
I think it happened 1920s, if I'm not mistaken. Whatever. Don't get me right. I mean, don't quote me on a date, but back when the Wall Street crash, right? People's certain people perception of what was going on was the world was about to end. That also, I'm watching a series, right? World of Worlds, excellent, right?
1929.
1929. There you go. Thank you. 2829. Um, if someone begins to justify it, is proof of white supremacy, in my opinion. It is an indicator. It's an indicator of white supremacy. I agree. Um,
Let me add to that. If somebody tries to justify just one colors,
just
uh,
the same. Yeah,
the same race of people, and not when it happens equal opportunity,
yeah.
like
It,
when it happens that way, then yes, it could be proof of that.
mm. So,
There are people who believe that the only thing, like libertarians believe, look, shoot them.
yeah. Hey, but they believe that for everybody. They don't believe that for just one race. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Um, so there's Water Worlds. Let's go to Water Worlds, right? Do you know the history of Water Worlds, the book, the story, why it became
Mm-mm.
so popular? Okay, the history of Water Worlds was that it was a story, and I can't remember. H.G. Wells, I think, did it. I can't remember who it is, but anyway, it started off as a radio program, right? And it was reading War of the Worlds. They were,
Oh yeah, I remember that.
remember that? Okay, so they read War of the Worlds over this radio program. People believe what they see in me when they hear in media, right? Now it's see, but back then it was only hearing. Some people believed it so much they went and took their lives. They thought it was the end of the world. So let's talk about the fact that people believe they want to believe certain things, because just not believing in this would be total a contradiction of their core beliefs. So they have to believe that the black person did something. You have those group of people. I'm not saying this is all. I'm just saying you said one thing, Heidi said one thing. I'm saying that little maybe some people want to believe this, whatever mainstream media say, because they want to believe that this is not the experience of black people. This is not what black people go through. This can't be reality. So they have to, in their mind, make sense of it, because hey, he had to do something. And then those are the people that kind of gravitate to the media saying, "Oh, look his record. He smoked weed. Look his Instagram page. Look his social media. He holding guns. He doing this. So he's a violent person. So this is why the cops did it." So they have those group of people that do that, and I don't think it's not really racism as it is biased.
Mm.
You're biased for the cops to saying the cops know what they're
I think
doing.
it's racism because when you justify something like weed, remember, like weed isn't a black thing. Weed, like, and
No,
it's legal in places now.
yeah, but I'm
The
saying
fact that
in
I heard
general,
somebody say that he's smoking weed, I'm like, it's legal in more states. It's you're
all the
just
time.
justifying excuses.
Yeah,
So yeah, and I think it does have to do with color of skin, and I'm not gonna act like it doesn't.
no, but I'm saying
Because
that's
if
not
let me
every case.
say it like this,
Mhm. But
there are some people who exist. Like for me, I used to say this all the time. Somebody was telling me about their family member molesting one of the other family members, right? And them sweeping it under the rug. Fuck that. I'm not doing that shit.
mhm,
Like, if ever there was a time somebody in my family did that shit, fuck it. I'm narking, singing, canary full day,
mhm.
all day. So, but I don't believe that I have to take care of my household by any means like that. And their household is not is the community that they see. So they're gonna look out and they're gonna see humanity within what looks like them and vilify the
That don't, yeah, vilify people that don't look like them.
people who don't.
Yeah,
Heidi says, in all honesty, from up north perspective, I've never seen some of the things I've seen until watching your podcast. You and your lifestyle and the things that happened in the South is a little bit invisible to us. But I would also say, Heidi, do I have to tell you to be a quality person? Do I have to say right and wrong? Like, I don't have to justify right and wrong with certain people. Like, you're not going to tell me that I can justify on any day somebody getting hunted down and killed while he was running, just jogging. He was just running. And they not only was it like it'd be different if it was just one man doing that, but the one man got his father and I think an uncle and then a neighbor.
yeah, no, yeah. Well, the neighbor, no, they didn't get the neighbor. The neighbor yelled out, "Oh, what's going on?" They run. They oh, he did something, and the neighbor did it on his own accord. Went and jumped in his vehicle and let's hunt a Negro. That's what he ended up doing.
So to me, it's about humanity. It's not about the color of skin. Because I want to be very clear. Don't get caught up in that. The color of people's skin does not equate to the fuck that. If you're in the hood and you don't look like the people in the hood, or you in the area and you don't look like the people in the area, whatever the hood may be, don't sit there and be like, I don't want to be racist. No, get the fuck out of there. It's
Yeah,
the like poverty is poverty mindset. I'm not gonna do that. It's just like don't allow father said I thought it was four people. I know it was three.
it was three. No, it was three people in the vehicle. It was three
I
people
feel
because
like it
one.
was four
It was,
people total though.
it was three people in the vehicle, and the one front behind him that was filming.
Filming. Yes, that's what I thought.
It was four.
Um,
Yeah.
so my thing is don't allow like biases just because biases in people's favor is still racism.
Hmm.
Just because you're trying to justify, like, don't try to prove anything. Understand we're human. If I could tell anybody this, if I gave a shit enough to have that conversation with anybody to be responsible, I would say we're human. There are good and bad people everywhere. People thought Ted Bundy was an amazing looking guy. He was fucking bitches up.
They had a guy that actually was called his friend or something, and was writing to him, and he thought he was a great guy, even though he was doing what he's doing. I'm like, wow, this is crazy.
Because things don't exist in a vacuum.
Vacuum, yeah.
He probably is a good. I heard he has a great personality. That could be true. And he's fucking bitches up.
That's
Like
why. That's why he had so many victims, because he had a great personality.
yes. So don't sit there and allow your biases or your ignorance or your racist tendencies to get you caught up. Because then there's like a bunch of different situations that occur and it'll be your fault.
Mm-hmm. Like I said,
That's it.
was that?
That's it for me.
That's it. Okay. Anyway, we went all the way around the world. We
I
touched.
mean, but it's all touched together. It's all together. It's about educating yourself. And it's about really doing the hard work and questioning what you bring to the table and how you're problematic.
And
It's
what you hear, questioning what you hear, and using your mind to distinguish the truth, the reality. Looking at it objectively and
yeah.
coming up with the answers.
It doesn't offend me if you don't agree with me at all. It doesn't make my world change at all. But understand why you feel the way you feel may help you understand the way you move.
Mm-hmm.
Like just like I was talking, like we were talking, like my approach to life can be seen in how I do things. So I understand why it's weird for some people who don't move like I move. So I'm not asking you to be like that. I'm not trying to ask you to see the world the way I see the world. You will never be able to see the world the way I see the world. Lucky you, you don't live in the same lens, or unlucky you, because it's kind of dope when you're the outsider. It's kind of dope too. You don't have to,
I agree with that. Yeah. Yeah, it's and you have, it takes all types. People need to understand, for this world to be what it is, for America to be what it is, right? It took all types of people to create this society. It
Mhm.
took free thinkers. It took people that were good at math, people that are good at speech. John Hancock is known for what? His fucking handwriting. So it took all types of people to make society what it is, and they understood each other, respected each other. I don't have to think like you, but I respect you for being a human being, being a person, and whatever you bring to this collective. I respect you for that, and you keep it moving.
You're better than me. I don't even need your respect. I just need to live.
And that's true. I mean
I just
that
need you to
that's
provide the
the basic.
opportunity for us
That's
to
the
live.
basic. That's the basic. But I think to thrive, you need to actually respect people, because if I'm bringing something to the collective, right? You have to respect me enough to know that it's and respect me enough to give me the freedom to say what it is that to do what I have to do, right?
Is it respect or autonomy?
Well,
Like
yeah, time.
humanity.
Yeah, autonomy. That's better.
Yeah, that's
That's
what I say. I don't
better.
know if that's
Yeah,
because I don't need you to respect me, but I need you to allow me to live.
yeah, it's a better term. You're right.
Hate me all day long, hate me, but let me live.
Mm.
That's it. And if you don't, I will say this: if you don't understand that there's a problem, then you need to look in the mirror because you're a part of it. Even apathy means that you're a part of it. Doing nothing means you're a part of it. Apathy, trying to understand it away. All of those things means you're a part of the problem. And I'm not going to have the conversation with you because it's a waste of my time.
Anyway, that's all I have. Oh, Black Wall Street. On my shirt. Black Wall Street shirt. That was a gift for one of our viewers. All right. All
Thank
right.
y'all for joining us. And in 21 minutes, the CNN special goes. If you want to learn some more information, please share. I'm not saying share this podcast because we ignorant.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we know everything. I mean, Willie does the research.
Yeah. Which
I just use common sense.
I couldn't provide today. I'm mad. But I will be posting all the pictures and stuff, the clips, the newspaper clips and everything on ADHD Hour page. So if you're watching this, you're not part of ADHD Hour page, just look it up. Go to hashtag ADHD Hour, and it'll bring you to our page, and you can see the pictures. Like I said, that's all I got.
All right.
Everybody
Thank
for
you
coming.
for joining. Thanks, buddy. Thanks, Ashley. Everybody, again, take a look at Black Girl Interrupted. Even though it's called Black Girl Interrupted, they talk about a lot of things that are um they're dope content. It's dope content. It's real content, and I think that's what we need to be, is a lot more real and stop trying to sugarcoat stuff.
Yeah, that's what we need to do as a community. Stop trying to lie to each other and hold each other accountable and talk about real stuff that's going to make us grow as a people.
Mm-hmm. All right, y'all.
All right. Good night. About to go watch the show. Peace.